So it ends off on a cliff, this big, beautiful wildflowers, tall grass, wonderful place to have a picnic. That's always the idea I have in my head, that this is where we want to have a picnic. And then there's a big cliff, and then there's mountains across the cliff. Like you could actually have an echo party with somebody on the mountains on the other side. Now, the thing that cracks me up the most about this spot is it's one of the places siblings refer to. Siblings. Now, what is it about siblings that is so important? Hello everyone, welcome to our latest video. Today we are going to talk about what the other side might look like and why your loved ones might actually take you there when you're dreaming. The next place seems to be a bit of a meeting area, seems to be an area where many people can converge, but I never see many people in it. I actually just see it as a natural setting. It looks like long grass or wildflowers growing really, really lovely and tall. It reminds me so much of the scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, where Tuesday Weld and Paul Newman practically did that running towards each other with the arms open. Remember the thing that we all make fun of? Love is a many splendor thing. That kind of stuff. That's actually what I see. But I also see that it kind of ends and it's a big cliff and it's a bit of a fjord, which by fjord, I think I'm saying that right. I think I actually have the right geographical thing, but I'm not entirely sure. So it ends off on a cliff, this big, beautiful wildflowers, tall grass, wonderful place to have a picnic. That's always the idea I have in my head, that this is where we want to have a picnic. And then there's a big cliff, and then there's mountains across the cliff. Like you could actually have an echo party with somebody on the mountains on the other side. Now, the thing that cracks me up the most about this spot is it's one of the places siblings refer to. Siblings. Now, what is it about siblings that is so important? Your siblings, even your adoptive ones, because when you are adopted into a family, you are an infusion of new DNA and new life into the family. Your siblings hold the most DNA in common with you. Now, when it comes to being actually physically adopted, I do wonder, but I want to say I do wonder, but then my spirit guides want me to say, but I don't. Because the person who comes and gets you, you recognize, you know who that person is. So if you have a sibling, they're going to come and get you. If you have a twin, for certain they're going to come and get you. If you do not have siblings, it'll be the next highest DNA amount that is equal to your DNA. So your mother, even if you have your mother and father are still on this side and you die, it could be a cousin, it could be an uncle, it could be a grandparent, somebody who shares whoever wins and has the most DNA comes to get you, because your DNA is incredibly important. And one of these days I'm going to do more research into DNA. Anywho, so I see siblings take people to the big open fields with the tall grass and the wildflowers, and it's so beautiful, and they walk them to the edge and they say, hey, look over the edge, and they drop them over. I see it all the time. I see siblings walk other siblings into walls because it's your sibling. They're coming to get you, and they love you enough to walk you into a wall. They love you enough to have fun with you. They love you enough to drop you off a cliff. And I'm going to say they love you enough to do that because honestly, our siblings teach us humility. They teach us how to take a punch, and they teach us how to take an insult, and they teach us how to let stuff roll off our backs because you're stuck with them. And even after death. Another part of the other side that I get shown a lot is, I was going to talk about one part, but now my brain wants me to talk about a different part that I kind of call the neutral zone. It's not Romulan territory. Actually, the neutral zone is where the Romulans can't open, because the neutral zone is a peaceful place. The neutral zone is where they come in and talk to me. When I see people coming in to talk to me, I will see, because they use things that are familiar to you. They use things that are in your head as either safe places or a place that reminds you of a certain kind of feeling, because they're trying to evoke a feeling at the beginning of the communication, because communication is actually a heck of a lot more about feeling than it is about vocalization. So when the dead come in, it reminds me very much of a little thing they used to do on Sesame Street. On Sesame Street, what they used to do is have a whole blank screen. And if you're my age, you might remember this. And then at the bottom corner of the screen, you'd see a little door open. And you'd see light coming from the door. And then you'd see the door close, and then you'd hear tick, 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 as somebody walked towards the front of the screen. Then you would see eyeballs. That's what they used to do on Sesame Street. That's how the dead come to visit me. When I am speaking to a loved one who is still on this side and a dead person comes in, quite often they will characterize it as though they are walking into a black room, completely void room, because I actually think that is where I meet up with them. And I know what it's called, and I always call it by the wrong name. I always call it the macabre, which I don't think is correct, because that sounds wrong. It is where, if you took a pentagram, a triangle, a pyramid, and put it on top of another pyramid, the space that is in between, the little cube that is created by a pyramid by a point of a pyramid pointing towards the north, a point of a pyramid pointing towards the south, and the two locked together, that square that is created is where I meet with the dead. It is where we all can meet with the dead. It is where living and spirit collide. It is something that is achievable by everyone, but I dare say, it's more difficult than I always make it out to be, because it is always coming so incredibly natural to me. I believe that you most definitely can convene with the people who you are attached to, the people who you share DNA with, the people who you have shared life with, the people you see as your family. But I do not know that it would be as easy for you to do it with members of somebody else's family. So the void itself, to my mind, may or may not be only in existence in my mind. That does not mean it only exists in my mind. That's not what I mean. What I mean is the idea of it, the visual I get, that could very well be individual to me, because they like to use visuals that are individual to me so that I will understand them better, because they have to bring it back to a Sesame Street place, because that was the one time in my entire life where I was not riddled with fear, where I wasn't worried about money, where I wasn't worried about my personal safety, and where I wasn't worried about people dying. So that's why they bring it back to Sesame Street. Why it makes me emotional? No idea. No idea. I can be found at BobbiRowntree.ca, Bobbi Rowntree BornMedium.ca, Trinity Yoga and Spiritual Services.ca. I got a few domain names. Find me. Namaste.